God is moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Giving the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day, and welcome back to Young People Nation. Today we have a special guest who will be talking with us in four sessions, on boundaries. Her name is Miss Tiffany Hodges. She is a licensed master social worker who is so dedicated to engaging, educating, and empowering others to live and not just exist. One of her quotes in her counseling sessions is, "You must do the work." She is the founder of Tiffany Empowers LLC, host of Catch This New Podcast, and Tiffany's Table. We have gained so much knowledge from this young lady, and we are honored to be called Pop and Mom. And welcome back, and we call her daughter.
Yes.
Welcome, Tiffany.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
And today we're going to be talking on boundaries.
Yes.
This is something so needed in our society today.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. Let's define what boundaries look like.
Great. Thank you all for having me once again. I'm super excited to be here to talk about boundaries. Boundaries are just limits or rules we set for ourselves within our relationships. There are typically about 6 areas that we cover when we look at boundaries. So you have personal boundaries, you have physical boundaries, intellectual, emotional, sexual, material, and time. So those are some of the areas that we cover when we're looking at boundaries. These things make up boundaries, if you will.
Okay. So knowing your boundary, the boundaries are for you.
Yes.
So what does setting boundaries look like?
They look like knowing yourself. Again, they're your values. They're things that are important to you. They are yours and yours alone. Know your boundaries before entering any situation. So again, they're for you, as you stated earlier, Mama Perry. They are just for you. A lot of times we think boundaries are set for other people, but really they're safeguards for you to make sure that you're in line with what it is you're trying to do and making sure you don't break your boundaries.
Okay.
They're expressing yourself clearly without any ambiguity. Just being real clear about what is and what isn't going to happen to you, from you, and for you, right? And also being able to use confident body language, being respectful, plan when possible, and be considerate of others when appropriate. A lot of times when we're thinking about boundaries, we're often thinking about others, and we will make decisions that are comfortable for other people, but they are uncomfortable for us. So therefore we violated our own boundaries. And that's how sometimes we get into the situations that we do.
Ouch.
Well, I'm looking at this from a male point of view, and I flunked every last one of them. The personal boundaries, growing up, having all the 2 daughters and a wife, I flunked all these. And as a male, we really have to work on this personally, because especially the physical boundaries, I was fiberglassed it. I ain't know nothing. Nothing happened, no females in my family other than my mother. So all the limits and what to do, what not to do. No, you can't throw them upside down and all that. Or they're not a football.
Right.
And,
yes.
And they don't like watching football with you too much. And I was fiberglassed and totally at a loss. At a loss, because what was that show used to come on? The female shows come on with all the dramatic things be on. We were looking at. I think the Woman Channel. It was a TV station with that on, And
Lifetime.
Lifetime. Yeah. Yep. That's why we had 2 TVs.
We actually had 4. Everybody had their own TV.
Yeah.
But you know what though? What I loved about you is that you was willing to learn what those boundaries were when it came to a female. And so you were willing to learn. That was the key with him.
Absolutely.
That no, this is what females like.
Right.
Right. And the boundaries I want to deal with even when it comes to the personal boundaries as a mother, a wife, or just an individual. And you have to set those boundaries where you don't lose your peace.
Correct.
And you stop being an overload.
Right.
You're always the yes person or the go-to person when you shouldn't be.
Correct.
Because you're not God.
No.
So you need to set boundaries. Okay, I do not have it for this conversation today.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. Is that correct?
There's nothing wrong with that because a lot of times if we took those moments to realize that I might not be in the right space to have these conversations, we can save relationships because sometimes we're saying things out of anger and
Yes.
and nothing gets done, nothing gets solved in a conversation full of anger. And so when you know that within yourself that, you know what, I'm about to get out of character.
Yes. Yes.
This boundary is at a 0.
Yes.
So let me save this relationship and fall back and honor that I am not ready.
Yes. Not
Yeah.
them.
Not them.
I have to take ownership for
That's
myself.
correct. You can only own you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because once words go out, that's it.
And words matter.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
that old thing, words don't hurt, just put it in your mouth and let it work. I remember that growing
Yeah.
up. And I'm like, who told us that?
God made dirt.
Right.
Yeah.
You put it in your mouth. Words don't, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is a lie.
Correct.
That is not
Words
true.
are-
Words have power.
Yes.
Words linger for centuries and decades, and they have meaning. And when you don't know where your boundary is, when it comes to those languages and things that people say to you, it will put you in a people pleasing position, and it will stop you from setting and maintaining those boundaries because of words.
That can be so exhausting.
It is exhausting.
And I just believe I've learned, I'm going to say as I've gotten older, that you've got to take some time for yourself throughout the day
Yes.
so that you can really examine what did I do what I purpose to do today or my assignment, what did I accomplish today? And or did I just was I scattered all over the place, which I've been there before,
Right.
especially, as a mom, as a wife, when I was single, I was just all over the
All
place.
over the place.
But nevertheless, these boundaries, I did not hear, the word has always been out there,
Yeah.
but I didn't get a revelation of this until my later age.
Right. Because it's just language again. Sometimes words just didn't come to us. And our parents or those that raised us, they knew what they knew. And there's no right or wrong in that.
Yes.
But as we evolve and we get older and we get wiser, our vocabulary expands.
Yes.
And we start to understand, this is what this means. They may have said, don't let nobody use you. Don't let nobody make a fool of you. Let your yeses be your yeses. So in reality, those are boundaries. They
Yes.
just didn't call it that.
Yes.
Because they didn't know what that was, right?
Yes.
But that's what it meant. One my grandmother used to say is, don't let nobody call you out your bed. So if you're in there, you stay in there. See, those are boundaries.
Okay,
Make
okay.
your decisions.
Yes.
How do you think about it? What do you feel about it? Own that. Those were their way of saying these are your boundaries. But now that we're here and we've expanded in some form from that, now we know what the term is.
Okay.
Don't allow people to have you doing all kind of things that you know is morally wrong on your core. That's a boundary.
Yes.
So when you know what your values are, what your morals are, what your moral compass is, don't let anybody sway you on that, because then you are now violating your boundaries.
That's good.
But growing up like that, and through my childhood and all, I never had no emotional boundaries and all. It was like right, left, and that's it. No emotions whatsoever with me and my brothers. And after I got married and with the girls and everything, I learned what emotional boundaries were.
Yeah.
And it was a different landscape, a different method to things, because I came up in the society. Okay, you got a nail in your foot, you pull it out, put some dirt on it, stop bleeding, keep going.
Right.
Ain't no crying.
Right.
And with the girls and all, they scream about everything. I was like, oh my God, do they ever stop screaming?
Yeah, you used to be like, why did they holler? But God is amazing, because he gave him all females, and it really helped soften him.
God really got a sense of humor.
And so I want to talk about emotional boundaries.
Okay.
What is the danger of not setting emotional boundaries?
Look at today's society and how we are so emotionally driven. Logic is not something that we are leaning towards. Everything is how I feel, and emotions are flighty. That's what they are. We are to feel anyway at any moment. I could feel happy now. I could be a little anxious in 10 minutes. I could be nervous. I could be anything. But we are now taking these emotions and we're attaching them and we're holding on to them. And they are now making decisions for us. And we were never created to make emotional decisions. Emotions are there to be not a guide, but a gauge, if you will. Okay. But now what we've done in just looking at society today, we've taken it and made it a guide.
Okay.
I'm going to make this decision based off of how I feel. And we're not putting in a total package of letting our logic and our emotions guide us together to make a concrete and a conscious decision. And so we've made decisions sometimes based off of how we feel, and we've hurt ourselves, we've hurt our family, we get in financial situations, we're just moving erratically, if you will, based off of emotions, and they are dangerous because they aren't meant to hold on to. We're not supposed to grasp them and walk around with them. We are to experience them and let them go about their business.
Okay.
Because then the next one's coming. And then the next one's coming. And if we just keep holding on to this one, we're not experiencing the full joy of an emotion.
Okay.
And that's what the problem is.
Yeah,
And then a lot of times once we've made an emotional decision, that emotion's gone, but the decision is still there.
With consequences.
With the consequence of it. And the emotion was like, I wasn't supposed to be here for like 5 minutes, 2 minutes.
But that consequence.
But that consequence is there.
I agree 100% because men don't deal with emotional decisions and stuff, and then when they come up, I never knew that it was such a relief just to cry.
Yeah.
And then these emotional decisions and all, it affects your tone, your temperament.
Yeah.
And the irrational act of what you're doing next. And instead of being cool, calm, and collected, and being a logical, sane answer, your emotion is just crack out sometimes, and that's not a good idea.
Right.
Because that police car pull up real quick.
Yeah. And I want to say this. I think there's where a man and a woman balance come in at. Men are more logical.
Yeah.
They really are. Just being honest, they are. And women, we understand emotion.
Yeah.
Because we grow up like that.
Yes.
We grow up knowing it's okay to cry. We
With
know
all these hormones, yeah.
And so biologically,
Yes.
we are wired to
Yes.
feel and to understand that.
Yes.
Biologically, they may be wired to be logical. And so when you put a man and a woman together, you have a nice balance.
Yes. Yes.
Because where he may offset my emotion, I can offset his logic.
Yes.
And now
Right.
we're making a sound decision.
Yes. Yes.
Because we could be emotional.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And they could be too logical.
Yes.
Like it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do it? And we'll say, well, what? I don't feel that that's going to be good. And he'll say, okay, I understand that. And then we make a joint decision.
Yes.
That's why two are better than one. Right?
Awesome.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. And And to that point, how do we set these healthy, or how do we set boundaries?
You got to know your limits, but that is spending time with yourself. Adequate quality time with yourself to even know what your limits are and your values.
Okay.
You know, what do you value? Where did that come from? Your upbringing. What are some things that you appreciated about growing up that you brought into your adulthood? What are some things that you really wish you could change? And am I changing those things? But that takes time, and you have to spend that time with yourself to know that. Listen to your emotions, right? I want people to know that emotions are not terrible. God gave them to us for a reason. However, they are not supposed to rule over us. They are supposed to be there for us to experience and as a gauge, not a guide.
Okay.
And so listen to them, honor them, and respect them because they're real. But don't make them your 100% totality in how you're making your decisions. Have some self-respect. Let your yeses be your yeses and your no's your no's.
Yes.
Respect others, because if I can take a no from myself, I can take yours.
That's right.
Right. If I can give a no, I should be able to take your no.
Correct.
Right.
That's
so
tough there.
so I can respect your
That's
no.
true, though.
I can respect your no,
Yes.
and I'm cool with that.
Yes.
Be assertive. I statements. Talk about how you feel, not what somebody made you do and how somebody made me feel. No, I feel this way. This is my position on things. That's being assertive, because you can only talk about one person in the room, and that is you, because you can only change one person in the room, and that is you. And consider the long view. Again, that's that decision making. If I do this, what is it going to look like down the road from here? 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm not talking about 20 years down the road. We don't know that. But if this decision that I make right now, that can affect what I do in 10 minutes. That can affect what I do in 3 months. So think about the long game. Sometimes it's good to work backwards. Play that out backwards. If I do, what will that look like walking backwards? But that takes time. And that takes you spending time with yourself to think about the things that you make and the decisions that you make. That's why it's good to spend quality, adequate time with yourself in order for you to know how to set these boundaries.
I love that. And spending time investing in you. And you know what? If we don't invest in ourselves, why are we expecting for other people to invest in us?
Yeah, it's not going to
It's
happen.
not happening. And people know when you're investing in yourselves.
Yes.
They do, and it's more than the outer.
Right.
It's more from the inside out.
Right.
They're like, this person really takes some time and think about what they're saying. I was just reading a scripture about that, about how, we just don't blab out words, because words, they have so much power.
They do.
And so boundaries. That is really, really an area that I believe our society would do so much better if we all just take a self-assessment of, okay, that's not my area, and I don't need to be over there.
Right.
And so boundaries.
And sometimes people may be stronger in one area than they are in the next. And so if you're good in your emotional boundaries, that's great. So don't focus on that. But if you may be poor in your time boundary, you have poor time management, then work on that one.
Yes.
A lot of times we want to spend time in the ones that we're already good at.
Comfort zones.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely.
Well, okay. Well, this is about to be the wrap up of our first session, and we're just going to give a couple of emergency hotlines. That's the 988. That's 24/7. The text home to 741-741, and the NAMI 800 line. That's 1-800-950-6264. Again, that's 1-800-950-6264. Okay. Well, this is the first session, and Mr. Perry.
Well, this has been very interesting. I really learned a lot from boundaries, and it caused us to take a time out to find out, am I just living or I'm just existing? It's been Young People Nation, and remember, there's always hope.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know His word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what he gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going, keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by his love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth on to what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.